Do you want a cocktail that'll wake you up and f you up? Well, I've got a deal for you. What's up, guys? Dave here. And today I'm gonna show you two cocktails that will do exactly that. It's getting darker earlier, the season's changing, and some of us just need a little extra pick-me-up. So today we're gonna make a modern classic, the Espresso Martini, and I'm gonna show you a riff that I like to make that I think you might enjoy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the origins of this drink are pretty well known. The Espresso Martini was actually created by a British bartender by the name of Dick Bradshaw back in the late 80s. He was working at Fred's Club in London, and a young woman came into the bar and she asked for something that would wake her up and f her up. Now, naturally, like any other good bartender, Dick took a look around the bar, he saw what was available, he used a vodka base, because that's what people were drinking back then, and he slapped the drink together that he thought would do exactly what the young woman wanted. Now, over the years, this drink has been modified and riffed on and changed, but the name has stuck. And Dick Bradshaw himself didn't even call this an espresso martini. When he came up with it, he just called it a vodka espresso, and then actually later changed the name to the pharmaceutical stimulant. But that didn't matter to the rest of the world because this was the late 80s and he served it in a martini glass, and basically everything was being called a martini back then. Didn't matter what you put into it, if it ended up in a martini glass and served up, you were gonna call it the something martini. So naturally, espresso martini is what the public decided to call it, and over time, just colloquially, that's what it was known as. So that basically lands us here today with what we call the espresso martini. Though it's not a martini, we will call it that. Now let's talk about the ingredients. The first ingredient, obviously, vodka. I'm gonna be using Tito's vodka today, and I actually think that vodka is a great base for this cocktail, although you can try it with different spirits. Next is our coffee liqueur, and I'm gonna be using Mr. Black. And next we're gonna be using a rich simple syrup. I'm using Demerara, and it is a 2-to-1 ratio sugar to water. And last but not least, our espresso. Now before we get started, I wanna talk a little bit about the coffee liqueur. Now I'm using Mr. Black today. However, there are dozens of choices, and depending on where you're at, certain coffee liqueurs may or may not be available. But be aware, they're not all the same. Some are sweeter, some are less sweet. Some use base spirits that have different funk and flavors to them. And I've found that this particular brand is probably the best as far as sort of pure coffee flavor. So that's basically it. That's just 4 simple ingredients, and it's really easy to make. So let's get some things set up and get started. Okay, to get started making the espresso martini, this is gonna be a drink that's shaken up. So we're gonna start with a mixing glass. We're gonna add 1 ounce of vodka to our mixing glass. Then we're gonna add our coffee liqueur. So 1 ounce of the Mr. Black. And then 1/4 ounce of our Demerara syrup to counteract the bitterness of the espresso. And then we're gonna add our shot of espresso right to the glass. Next, we'll just add our ice. Then we'll just give it a shake. And we really wanna aerate it to help create that head that's gonna form on the top. So we're gonna shake it really tough for about 15 seconds. We're gonna use a nice chilled martini glass to pour this into, and we're gonna pay homage. Just strain the cocktail right into the glass. It's going to be a little bit lighter than you might expect because of all that aeration and those bubbles. It's going to start to settle upward until you get a nice foamy top, and that will give us the perfect base to give us the traditional garnish, which is 3 coffee beans. Then we'll go ahead and peel a lemon, express oil over the top and on the rim, just to liven things up. That is an espresso martini. That is a beautiful cocktail. Anyway, let's go ahead and set that aside, because now we're gonna make our second drink, which is sort of a riff on this. We're gonna do sort of a play on an iced mocha. And essentially, we are gonna be using the same ingredients, at least as a base, but we're gonna be adding in a couple more ingredients to make this one. And those are dark cream to cocoa, and whole milk. Again, we're gonna start with a mixing glass, and we'll add 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of our coffee liqueur, 1/4 ounce of the sugar syrup again, 1/2 ounce of cream de cacao, 1 full ounce of whole milk. You can use a lighter milk if you'd like. And of course, our shot of espresso. Add our ice. Give it a shake for about 15 seconds. And this one's gonna be poured over ice into a highball glass. And we'll strain it all the way out. We're gonna add a little bit of cream. Now this is just a heavy cream. Give it a shake for about, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. Grab a bar spoon and we will just top the drink off with the very, very lightly whipped heavy cream. And I garnish with a little cocoa powder and a straw to enjoy it with. And that is my riff on the Espresso Martini. I call it it's just an adult iced mocha, really. All right, we've got Erin here and she is gonna taste these drinks because I can't. This is the Espresso Martini.
Tastes like really strong, good coffee. I think it's just perfectly sweet, but just enough that you don't taste like, it doesn't taste like you're drinking like a bitter shot of espresso.
And that's the mocha latte.
Adult mocha. It's really good. It's actually quite tasty. A little sweeter than that, obviously. Okay. And creamier. They're both good.
Yeah.
They both taste like coffee, but you can tell they have alcohol in them. I mean, they're alcoholic beverages, obviously, but it's not overpoweringly alcoholic tasting. So, thumbs up on both of them. Okay, great. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw today. And if you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you'd like some more drinks with Dave, me. I'm Dave, as usual. And until next time, cheers.